Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready to dive into something a little different today?
I'm ready. What are we looking at?
Well, we're going to be looking at home appliances,
Okay.
but not the way you usually think about them.
All right.
We're going to be looking at some of the hidden dangers
Interesting.
based on this article. Hidden dangers on home appliances.
Where's that from?
It's from the United Kingdom Home Ideas blog, and they bring up some pretty interesting stuff.
Like what?
Well, for example, they talk about bacteria just growing rampant in toasters.
I know, right?
Also, the UVC lights they use in air purifiers.
Okay. Yeah, those are supposed to kill germs and stuff, right?
Right, but they can also be kind of dangerous in certain circumstances.
I see.
And also, they talk about how the economy plays a factor.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like when the economy's bad, sometimes manufacturers cut corners,
Yeah, that makes sense.
which can lead to some, maybe not so safe appliances.
Right. Well, hopefully we can uncover some of those dangers for everyone today.
Exactly. And the comment section for this article is really something else.
Really?
Yeah, there are people who are just like ready to chuck all their appliances and, live off the land.
Wow. So this article is pretty polarizing, it sounds like.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things the article starts off with is this idea that home appliances are kind of a double-edged sword.
How so?
Well, on one hand, they're super convenient.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they save us so much time and energy.
I can't imagine living without my dishwasher.
Right. Like washing dishes by hand.
No, thank you.
Exactly. But on the other hand, they do introduce these risks that a lot of times we just don't think about.
Yeah, that's true.
It kind of reminds me of other times in history when new technologies have come along.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And at first they seem like they're, the best thing ever.
Right, like the answer to all our problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then as time goes on, we start to realize that, wait a minute, there's some downsides to this too.
Definitely. Think about like the early days of factories and all the machines they started using. Or even just cars.
True.
At first, they're revolutionary, but then, people get hurt.
Accidents happen.
And then we have to figure out, okay, how do we make this technology safer?
Exactly. And it's kind of interesting to think about that in the context of, our toasters.
Our toasters?
Yeah. The article talks about how gross they can get.
Oh, yeah.
Like all the bacteria and burnt crumbs that build up in there.
Have you ever looked inside of a toaster?
Ugh. It's really not something you want to think about.
It's kind of scary, actually.
I know. And it's not just about it being gross either.
Right.
It can actually be a health hazard.
Oh, really? How
If-
so?
Think about it. It's warm,
Yeah,
and it's usually kind of moist in there.
right.
And then you've got all these little bits of food.
Like a petri dish.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's like the perfect breeding ground for bacteria.
So those crumbs are doing more than just attracting ants.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And, most of the bacteria is probably harmless,
Yeah.
but some of it can make you sick.
That is something to think about.
All right. So maybe it's time to give your toaster a deep clean.
Maybe we all should.
Okay, moving on. The article also talks about air purifiers and UVC lights.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So these are supposed to be like these awesome devices that clean the air we breathe.
Yeah, they're supposed to kill all the germs and everything, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But the article brings up this point that the lights themselves,
The UVC lights.
they also emit radiation.
Oh.
And that radiation can actually be harmful in high doses.
Really?
Yeah, we're talking about like potential links to skin cancer
Wow.
and cataracts and even like a weakened immune system.
That's pretty serious.
It is. So do you have an air purifier?
I do, yeah.
Have you ever thought about this before?
I mean, not really. I guess I just assumed they were safe.
I think a lot of people do. But it's important to understand that this UVC radiation, it's kind of like a lot of things in life.
How do you mean?
Like it has what you might call a Goldilocks zone.
A Goldilocks zone.
Yeah. Like in certain amounts, it can be really beneficial. Like that's why they use it in hospitals and labs to kill germs.
Right.
But the key is controlled exposure.
So if it's not controlled.
Right. If it's not controlled or if the device malfunctions, then the risks go way up.
Oh, so like what if the shielding around the bulb breaks down or something?
Exactly. Then you could be exposed to harmful levels of radiation.
So basically the thing that's supposed to be cleaning our air could actually be making us sick.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic, isn't it?
It really is.
But don't panic just yet.
Okay, good.
The article isn't saying that all air purifiers are bad or that we should never use them.
Okay, that's good to know.
It's more about raising awareness so that people can make informed decisions.
Right.
Like if you're going to buy an air purifier with a UVC light,
Yeah.
Make sure you get it from a reputable brand
Okay.
and that you install it properly and maintain it.
Right, and like don't use it if it seems broken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The article even links to another article that goes more in depth about the risks of UVC lights.
Oh, really? From where?
It's from all4home.online. I think it's called UVC Risks of Air Purifiers or something like that.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about toasters and air purifiers. Now let's talk about how the economy can impact all of this.
Okay, so are you saying like recessions are bad for our appliances?
Well, sort of. The article argues that when times are tough, manufacturers sometimes start cutting corners.
To save money.
Yeah, and that can lead to products that aren't as safe.
That makes sense. Like if people aren't buying as much,
Right,
then companies need to find ways to cut costs.
exactly. And
Yeah.
sometimes that means using cheaper materials,
Okay.
or rushing the production process,
Right.
or even skimping on safety testing.
So like a knockoff air purifier with a faulty UVC light.
That's exactly what the article uses as an example.
Yikes.
Yeah, so you could end up trying to save a few bucks on an air purifier
Hmm.
and then end up with something that's actually harmful.
That's not a good deal.
Not at all. It really makes you think about how much we're willing to compromise on safety.
Right, like at what point does saving money become more important than our health?
Exactly. It's something we all have to consider, especially when the economy is uncertain.
You know, that's a really good point.
And maybe it's worth spending a little more to get an appliance from a brand you trust.
Yeah. Especially if it means it's going to be safer.
Okay, so we've talked about some of this scary stuff.
Yeah.
Now let's see what people are saying in the comments section.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, it's a pretty wide range of reactions.
Mhm. What do you mean?
Like some people are just cautiously concerned,
Okay.
and then there are others who are like full-on doomsday preppers.
No way.
Yeah, it's wild. For example, there's this one commenter named Isaiah,
Okay.
and they're all about regular maintenance.
That's always a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's simple, but it's so important.
Yeah.
And then there's this other commenter named Ashton,
Oh.
and they go completely off the rails.
Really?
Yeah, they're talking about like appliances awakening from their slumber and the silence before the scream.
Whoa, that's a bit dramatic.
I know, right? Maybe they had a little too much coffee that day.
Or they just watched a scary movie.
Maybe. But, you know, in a way, Ashton's comment does highlight this fear that a lot of people have.
A fear of what?
A fear of technology, you know?
Oh, like that it's going to turn against us or something?
Yeah, exactly. It's a pretty common theme in movies and books.
Sure.
Like the robots take over the world or something.
Right.
But let's be real here.
Okay.
We're talking about toasters and air purifiers.
Right. Not exactly Skynet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think the point is that we do need to be aware.
Of the potential dangers.
Yeah, we can't just blindly trust these machines.
Right.
We need to understand how they work and what the risks are.
And how to use them safely.
Exactly. And, you know, maybe give them a good cleaning every now and then.
Yeah, good point.
All right. I think that's a good place to pause for now.
Sounds good to me.
But don't worry, we'll be right back to dive into more of these comments and see what other gems we can uncover.
Can't wait.
Welcome back, everyone. We were just getting into the comment section of that article about hidden dangers in home appliances.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, people are really passionate about their appliances.
Hmm.
Speaking of passion, remember Robert?
Robert.
Yeah, he's the one who was like, come on, people. Most people don't die from exploding toasters.
Oh, yeah. I remember him.
And, you know, he's not wrong.
Statistically speaking, I guess.
Right. But I still think it's important to acknowledge that the risks are there.
Yeah, even if they're small.
Right. And for some people, any risk is too much risk.
I can see that.
It's all about how you perceive risk, I guess.
Exactly. What might seem totally insignificant to one person
Yeah.
could be a huge deal for someone else.
Right. It's all about finding that balance.
Between being cautious
Yeah.
and not living in a constant state of paranoia.
Bet your toaster's going to attack you.
Exactly. Speaking of balance, do you see King's comment?
Oh, yeah. King, they were hilarious.
They were making fun of Ashton, right?
Yeah. Remember Ashton?
The appliances are going to rise up person.
Exactly. King was like, oh, so there's a secret society of appliances plotting against us.
I love that.
I know, it was so funny. But it's good to have that humor in there, you know,
Definitely lightens the mood a bit.
for sure. But then we have Jonah, who brought up a really interesting point.
What's that?
They were saying that a lot of times it's not the technology itself that's dangerous.
Oh, I see.
It's how we use it.
Human error.
Exactly. Or lack of maintenance.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Like they were saying that most appliance-related accidents are caused by people not using them properly.
Well, that makes sense.
And they even suggested that manufacturers should do a better job of educating consumers.
About how to use their products safely.
Yeah, Like maybe they could have little videos or online tutorials.
Kind of like those unboxing videos everyone watches on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. It can be fun and informative.
I like that idea.
So we've got responsible use
Check.
and manufacturer transparency.
Check.
What else is going on in these comments?
Well, we have Amara, who seems to know a lot about UVC lights.
Okay, what did they say?
They were saying that, yeah, the lights can be harmful in high doses,
Right.
but they're actually designed for sanitizing and disinfecting.
Oh, like in hospitals.
Exactly. They use them in hospitals all the time.
So they're not inherently bad.
Right. It's all about the dosage and the context.
Kind of like with water.
Water.
Yeah, like water is essential for life.
Oh, yeah.
But if you drink too much of it.
You can die.
Exactly. So it's not that UVC lights are bad.
Right.
It's just that we need to use them properly.
And make sure the devices are working correctly.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have Aiden, who always brings the laughs.
What did Aiden say?
They were saying that they were both amused and terrified by all this.
By the article.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the part about the bacteria in toasters.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty gross.
I know. They were joking about how our toasters are secretly trying to turn us into human crumb cakes.
That's hilarious.
It is funny. But it also makes you think, about how we tend to anthropomorphize our appliances.
What do you mean by that?
Like we give them names
Oh, yeah.
and we talk to them.
Like they're our friends.
Yeah. And sometimes we forget that they're just machines.
And machines can break down.
Yeah, exactly. So we can't get too attached
Right. We need to stay vigilant.
and aware of the potential risks.
But also appreciate the convenience they bring.
Yeah, it's a balancing act for sure. Which makes me think about how our relationship with technology has changed over time.
How so?
Well, in the past, appliances are pretty simple.
Right.
They did one thing,
And that was it.
but now they're so much more complex.
And connected.
Yeah. Like think about smart appliances.
Oh, yeah.
Fridges that order groceries for you.
Ovens you can control with your phone.
Robot vacuums that roam around your house.
It's amazing.
It is. But it also makes you wonder about the implications.
Like what?
Well, for one thing, there are safety concerns,
Yeah, if they're connected to the internet
right? Someone could hack into them.
and control them remotely.
Exactly. And then there's the privacy issue.
Like, are they collecting data on us?
Yeah. And who has access to that data?
It's a little creepy when you think about it.
It is. And then there's the whole question of our reliance on technology.
Like, are we becoming too dependent on it?
Yeah. What happens if the power goes out?
Or if our devices fail us?
Exactly. It's something to think about.
Definitely. So how do we navigate all of this?
I mean, it's a lot to take in, right?
It is, but I think the key is to be informed.
About the risks and the benefits.
Exactly. And to use technology responsibly.
And to be aware of its limitations.
And to remember that it's a tool.
Not a replacement for human connection and interaction.
Right. Technology should enhance our lives.
Not control them.
Exactly. Okay, so that's a lot of big picture stuff.
It is. But let's bring it back down to earth for a minute.
Okay.
What are some practical things people can do to mitigate the risks of using appliances?
Well, first and foremost, maintain your appliances.
Regular maintenance.
Exactly. Keep them clean.
Okay.
Check for wear and tear.
Got it.
And follow the manufacturer's instructions for upkeep.
It's like a car, right?
Car.
Yeah. You wouldn't just drive a car around for years without ever changing the oil or checking the tire pressure.
Right. Appliances need regular checkups, too.
Exactly. And when it comes to those UVC lights,
Yeah.
be extra careful.
Like, make sure they're working properly.
Right. And that they're shielded so you're not exposed to the light directly.
And if you notice anything weird,
Like flickering or buzzing,
yeah, stop using it and get it checked out.
better safe than sorry.
Exactly. And when you're buying new appliances,
Do your research.
yes, don't just go for the cheapest option.
Or the one that looks the coolest.
Right. Look for reputable brands.
With good safety ratings.
Exactly. And read reviews from other consumers.
That's a good tip.
And, think about energy efficiency, too.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Choosing an energy efficient model can save you money on your utility bills.
And it's better for the environment.
So it's a win-win.
Totally. And when your appliances do eventually die,
Dispose of them responsibly.
yeah, don't just throw them in the trash.
Right. A lot of electronics retailers and recycling centers have programs for e-waste.
So you can make sure they're recycled properly.
Exactly. It's about taking care of the planet.
And not just our own little corner of it.
Right. Our choices as consumers have a ripple effect.
They really do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the risks
And the benefits.
and some practical tips for staying safe.
But what about the bigger picture?
Yeah, where do you see all of this going in the future?
That's a tough question.
It is.
Technology is evolving so rapidly.
It's hard to keep up.
It really is. But one thing's for sure,
What's that?
technology is going to continue to shape our lives.
In ways we can't even imagine.
Exactly. It's both exciting and a little scary.
I agree. We have all this power at our fingertips.
But we need to use it wisely
And responsibly.
and ethically.
Otherwise, it could backfire on us.
Big time.
So how do we make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, I think it starts with education.
Teaching people about the potential risks and benefits.
Exactly. And fostering critical thinking.
So people can make informed decisions.
And we need to have open and honest conversations about the implications of technology.
Like the ones we're having right now.
Exactly. And we need to advocate for responsible development and use of technology.
So it serves humanity.
Not the other way around.
Well said.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's a good place to take a break.
Sounds good to me.
We'll be right back to wrap things up and leave you with some final thoughts. Okay, so we're back. And I've been thinking about all this stuff about technology.
It's pretty heavy stuff.
It is. Like, we focus so much on the physical dangers.
Right, like the bacteria in toasters or the radiation from UVC lights.
But what about how technology affects our minds?
Yeah, our mental well-being.
That's something we don't talk about enough.
I agree. It's easy to get caught up in the convenience and the cool features.
And forget that there might be a downside.
Exactly. But I don't want to be all doom and gloom here. Technology has brought so many good things to our lives.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, it connects us with people all over the world
And gives us access to information.
and makes so many things easier and faster.
It's a powerful tool.
It is. So how do we find that balance?
Between the good and the bad.
Yeah. How do we enjoy the benefits of technology without letting it take over our lives?
I think it starts with awareness.
Awareness of what?
Awareness of how technology is affecting us.
Both physically and mentally.
Right. We need to be mindful of how much time we're spending online
And what we're doing online.
and how it's making us feel
And then we can start making conscious choices,
about how we use technology.
like setting boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Creating tech-free zones in our homes.
And prioritizing real-world interactions
It's about finding that balance.
between being connected and being present.
Right. And that balance is going to look different for everyone.
Some people might need more time offline than others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about figuring out what works best for you.
Okay, so let's say we're not ready to ditch our appliances and go live in a cave.
Most of us aren't.
What are some practical things we can do to stay safe?
Well, as we talked about before, regular maintenance is key.
Keep those appliances clean,
Exactly. And check for any signs of wear and tear.
like frayed cords or loose parts.
Right. And don't forget to follow the manufacturer's instructions.
They're there for a reason.
They are. And when it comes to UVC lights,
Be extra careful,
make sure they're installed correctly.
and that the bulbs are shielded.
And if you notice anything strange,
Like flickering or buzzing.
yeah, stop using it and get it checked out by a professional.
Good advice. And what about when we're buying new appliances?
Do your research.
Don't just go for the cheapest option.
Or the one with the most bells and whistles.
Look for reputable brands
It's good safety ratings.
and read reviews from other consumers.
They'll tell you what to watch out for.
And think about energy efficiency.
That's important too.
It'll save you money and help the environment.
It's a win-win. And when an appliance finally dies,
Make sure you dispose of it properly.
right, don't just throw it in the trash.
There are lots of places that recycle e-waste.
So do your part to keep those harmful materials out of landfills.
It's all about being responsible consumers
Exactly. We have a responsibility to ourselves
and to the planet.
to make sure we're using technology in a way that's sustainable.
So we've talked about the risks of home appliances
And the benefits.
and how to stay safe.
But let's end on a positive note.
Okay, I like that.
Technology has the potential to make our lives so much better.
If we use it wisely.
Exactly. We need to approach it with a sense of curiosity
And critical thinking.
and a commitment to ethical considerations.
We need to ask ourselves tough questions.
about the impact of new technologies,
And we need to work together to ensure that technology serves humanity.
not the other way around.
That's a great way to put it. Well, I think we've covered just about everything.
We have. It's been a great discussion.
It really has. And I hope our listeners have learned a thing or two.
I hope so too.
If you want to learn more about home appliance safety,
Be sure to check out that article we mentioned.
it's called Hidden Dangers on Home Appliances.
And it's on the United Kingdom Home Ideas blog.
And don't forget to read the comments section.
It's a wild ride.
It really is. Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for having me.
It's great talking to you. And to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious, stay informed, and maybe give your toaster a hug today. Just kidding. But seriously, be careful out there.